Anna Luisa woke up every day at 4 a.m. to cross the city before sunrise. She worked as a maid in one of the largest corporate towers in São Paulo, a building of glass that reflected everything except people like her. She was quiet, careful, always with headphones in and eyes down. But Anna had a secret. She had been deaf since the age of 6. She had learned to read lips and speak through Brazilian Sign Language, though most people never tried to understand her. One morning, as she entered the elevator with her cleaning cart, she froze. The CEO of the company was inside, tall, elegant, and completely unreachable. Nervous but sincere, Anna gave a small smile and signed gently. "Good morning, Gabriel." Mendes had no reason to notice the cleaning staff. He was the youngest CEO in the company's history, sharp, rich, and known for his cold efficiency. But that morning, he was caught off guard. A maid had signed to him, not waved, not spoken, signed. It was simple, quick but oddly powerful. He blinked, unsure what to say. The elevator doors opened, and she was gone before he could react. All day Gabriel couldn't stop thinking about her. Not just the gesture, but the bravery behind it. In a world where most people looked away from him, she had dared to greet him in her own language. He went back to the security footage not to invade her privacy, but to understand. He watched the moment again, frame by frame. The way her hands moved, the slight smile, the way she disappeared as if nothing had happened. He turned to his assistant, find out her name. His tone was calm, but inside, something had stirred. Anna had no idea she had been noticed. To her, it had just been a kind gesture, one that probably meant nothing to someone like him. She didn't even know if he'd understood, but deep down, she felt proud for doing it. It was rare for her to initiate contact with anyone. People rarely looked her in the eye, let alone spoke to her. She returned to her routine, scrubbing floors and wiping glass, unaware that her life was about to change. And the next morning, everything did. When she arrived at work, 2 security guards were waiting at the front entrance. They called her by name, her full name. Panic hit her chest like a wave. Had she done something wrong? Was she being fired? They asked her, kindly but firmly, to follow them upstairs. She walked through the polished halls, heart pounding, unsure of where she was being taken. For the first time, she stepped off the elevator on the top executive floor, and Gabriel Mendes was waiting for her. He stood by the window, hands behind, his back, expression unreadable. Anna froze at the door, clutching her hands to stay calm. She didn't understand why she was there. Gabriel turned and signed back, "Good morning." Her eyes widened in shock. He had practiced, she realized. He was trying. For the first time in years, someone had reached into her world instead of expecting her to step into theirs. She felt her knees weaken, but she smiled and signed, "You remembered." Gabriel sat down and invited her to do the same, gesturing slowly and respectfully. He handed her a note, carefully written, "I want to learn about you, about your language. May I?" Anna's hands trembled as she read it. No one had ever asked to know her before. People spoke at her, not with her. She nodded slowly, unsure if this was a dream. Gabriel smiled, relieved. And that marked the beginning of something neither of them understood yet. He arranged for a translator to join their sessions once a week, not for business but to talk to Anna. He asked about her life, her family, her favorite books. He listened, really listened. Anna felt herself open up, piece by piece, like a flower blooming in slow motion. She was still cautious, still shy, but the way Gabriel looked at her wasn't pity, it was respect, and maybe even curiosity. Rumors began to swirl in the building. People whispered about the cleaning girl being called upstairs. Some laughed. Others were cruel. Anna heard some of it, but Gabriel made it clear, "You belong here. Don't let their noise define you." He began greeting her in signs whenever they passed. Employees watched in confusion, unsure how to react. But Anna only cared about the way her heart skipped every time their eyes met. And for the first time, she didn't feel invisible. One day, he asked her what her dream was. She didn't answer at first. No one had ever asked. She finally signed, "To be heard. To help girls like me be seen." Gabriel nodded, his expression thoughtful. He reached into his desk and pulled out a card. It was for a scholarship program with her name already on it. And in that moment, Anna realized, this wasn't just attention. This was something deeper. Anna stared at the scholarship form, her hands shaking. It was a full ride, tuition, books, transport, everything covered. Gabriel had arranged it through a foundation in his name. She signed why? Softly, confused by the generosity, he simply replied, "Because brilliance shouldn't go unnoticed." For the rest of the day, she floated through her shift, lost in hope. It had been years since she let herself imagine a different future. Now, it felt like someone had opened a door she thought would always be locked. She began taking night classes in inclusive education and communication. Every evening, Gabriel would ask her how class went, sometimes even sending notes of encouragement. Anna tried not to read too much into it. He was her boss, after all. But there was something about the way he looked at her when no one else was around, something that made her heart stumble. Still, she reminded herself of reality. He was a CEO, and she was a maid. Different worlds, different rules. So she focused on her books, not her feelings. Meanwhile, Gabriel found himself rearranging his schedules just to catch glimpses of her. He wasn't sure what he felt, only that her presence calmed him. His life was full of noise, deadlines, boardrooms. But when Anna entered the room, everything quieted. He began learning more signs. He practiced that night, fingers clumsy but determined. One afternoon, he surprised her by signing, "I missed you today." Anna laughed, covering her mouth, and he knew it had been worth every mistake. But things weren't easy outside there. Small moments. Board members began to ask questions. Why is the cleaning staff on the executive floor? Are you involved with her? Gabriel gave no answers, only colder stares. He didn't care about gossip. What he cared about was how Anna lit up when she talked about her class project, teaching sign language to kids in public schools. He couldn't imagine a world where she wasn't rising. Anna had never felt more seen, or more afraid. She knew she was getting too close. He was kind, yes, but kindness didn't mean permanence. One evening, she decided to pull away. She skipped their weekly meeting and sent a short note. "Thank you, but I think it's better if we stop." Gabriel read it in silence, the paper crumpling slightly in his hand. For the first time in months, he felt cold again, and alone. The week passed in silence. Gabriel didn't try to reach out. Anna tried to stay strong, but every time she passed the executive floor, her heart ached. One night, her professor asked her to present a project at an inclusive education event. She nearly refused until she remembered Gabriel's words, "You belong." So she said yes, and invited him, even if she doubted he'd come. The night of the event arrived. Anna stood nervously behind the curtain, holding her note cards with trembling hands. She wore a simple navy blue dress, her curls pinned back. When she peeked at the crowd, her breath caught. Gabriel was in the front row. No assistant, no security, just him. When she walked onto the stage, he stood and clapped before anyone else. She smiled for the first time in days. She didn't sign, "Hello." She signed, "Thank you for seeing me." Her speech was powerful, spoken with voice and sign. She shared her journey, the loneliness of silence, the strength in being heard. She ended with a quote, "To be truly seen is the beginning of freedom." The room erupted in applause. Gabriel stood again, hands moving slowly, his first attempt at signing applause. Anna cried, not because of the crowd, but because he had shown up for her. After the event, they met in the hallway under soft lights. He looked at her like she was made of stars. "I'm sorry," she signed. "You don't owe me anything," he replied, "but you've changed everything." She reached for his hand hesitantly and he didn't let go. It was the first time they touched, and in that moment, the distance between Maid and CEO disappeared. They were just two people, choosing each other. From then on, Anna no longer walked with her head down. She was still quiet, still reserved, but she carried herself with purpose. People noticed, and Gabriel, he smiled more, worked less. The woman who once silently signed good morning had taught him how to truly live, and neither of them knew that their hardest test was still to come. News travels fast, especially when it involves the CEO. Someone snapped a photo of Gabriel holding Anna's hand after the education event. It hit social media within hours. Comments exploded. "The Maid. PR stunt. She seduced him." On his phone buzzed all night with messages, some cruel, some curious. She wanted to crawl into silence, to disappear like before. But Gabriel called her the next morning, and signed clearly, "I'm not hiding this. Are you?" They faced the storm together. Gabriel released a statement defending Anna's dignity, her intelligence, her right to be respected. He didn't label their relationship. He didn't owe anyone that, but he made it clear. "She changed the way I lead, and the way I live." Anna read the letter with tears in her eyes. She signed back in a video, "I'm not a headline. I'm a human." It went viral within hours. Still, not everyone approved. One board member threatened to resign unless Gabriel ended the distraction. Investors whispered about reputation damage. Anna saw him stress for the first time, his hands tighter, his smile thinner. She offered to leave. But Gabriel shook his head. "If I have to choose between you and this job, I already have." He stepped down temporarily. Anna couldn't believe it. "You built this company." Gabriel responded gently. "I can build again, but I won't rebuild my soul." They retreated to a quieter life for a while. Anna kept studying. Gabriel began volunteering, helping deaf students navigate corporate life. For once, they were just normal, but normal didn't last. Gabriel's ex-fiancée, a sharp executive, came forward on a news show. She painted Anna as a manipulator. Gabriel is a romantic. She knew how to play him. Anna watched the clip in silence. Gabriel turned off the TV and simply said, "We don't answer lies. We live truth." She kissed his hand and nodded. But a shadow had been cast. The media frenzy worsened. Anna's scholarship was threatened. Sponsors dropped out. Gabriel called an emergency meeting with the foundation. "I'll fund it myself," he said. "They said it would raise more questions." He replied, "Let them ask. We'll give better answers." And Anna saw it clearly. This man would burn down empires for her. Still, the pressure wore on them. The press fought for the first time. Riel, sharp words. "You don't understand what it's like to be me," Anna signed angrily. And you don't know what it's like to give up everything for someone who keeps running," he shouted. She left the room in tears. He didn't chase her. That silence hurt more than the headlines ever did. For a week, they didn't speak. Gabriel returned to his penthouse, quiet and restless. Anna threw herself into her schoolwork. But nothing felt right, until a small boy at her volunteer class signed, "Why are you sad, Miss Anna?" She blinked back tears, and realized she wasn't running from the world, she was running from herself. She found Gabriel on the rooftop where they once shared coffee. The sun was rising. He looked tired, but his eyes lit up when he saw her. "I'm scared," she signed, "that I'll lose myself in all this." He stepped closer. "Then let's stay lost together until we find the way." No speeches, no promises, just a silent embrace. One that said, "We're still here." They returned stronger. Together, they launched a national program. Sign language for all. Anna became a public speaker. Gabriel slowly reclaimed his seat, this time, on his own terms. And together, they proved that silence doesn't mean weakness. It means strength when shared with the right person. If this part touched your heart, like, comment, and subscribe for the emotional. Their story wasn't over. It was just about to begin. Months passed, and Anna and Gabriel became unstoppable together. Their project Signal was changing lives across the country. Anna's shy smile grew confident on every stage she spoke. Gabriel found peace in the quiet strength she carried. But success came with new challenges. Jealousy brewed among competitors. Rumors tried to weaken their foundation. Still, they held on to each other like a lifeline. One afternoon, Anna received a letter from her estranged mother. It was her first contact in years. She read it carefully, a request for forgiveness and a desire to reconnect. Anna's heart ached with memories of abandonment, silence, pain. Gabriel sat beside her, silently offering support. Together, they decided to face the past with courage. The next meeting would change everything. The reunion was tense but healing. Her mother apologized for leaving her to a harsh world. Anna forgave not to forget, but to free herself. Gabriel held her hand tightly throughout. He whispered, "Your strength comes from how far you've come." Anna realized family wasn't just blood, it was those who chose to stay. She smiled, for the first time fully at peace. Her past was a chapter, not her whole story. Meanwhile, Gabriel faced a difficult decision. The board wanted him back as CEO, but, with conditions, he could only return if he distanced himself from Anna. His world demanded sacrifice for power, but his heart refused. At a press conference, he made it clear, "I choose love. I choose Anna, and that is my strength." The room erupted, some in applause, others in shock. Anna stood beside him, radiant and strong. They knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they had grown through storms. Their love was no longer a secret or a scandal. It was a symbol of change, of courage, and of hope. Together, they were rewriting the rules. They traveled across Brazil, spreading their message. Every city brought new faces, new stories. Anna spoke of silence and being heard. Gabriel shared lessons of leadership and empathy. They inspired thousands, and in quiet moments, they dreamed of a future, one built on equality, respect, and true connection. On a crisp evening, Gabriel surprised Anna with a simple ring. Not on a grand stage, not before cameras. Just a promise between two souls who had found each other. He signed slowly. "Will you marry me?" Tears filled her eyes. She nodded, signing back, "Yes, with all my heart." Their wedding was small, but unforgettable. Friends, family, and supporters gathered. The ceremony included signs and spoken words. Anna's mother was there, smiling with pride. Gabriel's board members had softened their stance. The couple danced under stars, knowing that every step they took had led them here to a love that could move mountains. Years later, Anna and Gabriel stood in a school named after them. Children learned sign language alongside spoken words. The shy maid was now a leader, an inspiration. The CEO was now a champion of inclusion. Their journey had touched countless lives, but most of all, they had touched each other. Love, after all, is the greatest legacy. As they watched the sunset hand in hand, Anna signed softly, "Thank you for seeing me." Gabriel smiled, brushing her hair back. "I never stopped." If you loved this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring tales of hope and love. Their journey was proof sometimes the quietest hearts make the loudest impact.